Hey everyone, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Community Decks of the Week, a weekly series where I'm going to be showcasing 5 community member decks that are submitted by you, the members of the community. I'm actually super excited for this series, and this week we're actually going to include a short gameplay segment at the end of it with one of the decks that I think is going to have a lot of potential to win me some cubes. And what we're going to do as well is I'm going to be doing some future iterations of this series. We're going to try and make it better over time, especially with that new battle mode coming out. So I got some big plans for this series moving forward. If you're brand new, smash the like button. It really helps support the series and obviously support the people that submitted their decks as well. With that being said, a reminder that if you want to be in the next week's version of this video, all you got to do is comment in the comment section down below. Just give me your name. You can tell me your rank if you want. You got to give me the deck code, and you got to give me a little brief, like 2 or 3 sentence explanation as to why you think your deck is cool. A reminder for others that may be submitting decks from prior weeks, feel free to copy and paste your prior deck, tweak it if you want, whatever you'd like. I'm getting a ton of submissions, and I really appreciate everybody's support. But if I didn't pick your deck and you still love it, put it in this next video as well, because you never know. I'm going to be picking a bunch of decks every single week, and I'm sure I'll get to yours at some point. Regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed these decks, and we're going to get started with the first one today, which is featuring Morbius. That's exciting because Morbius is a card I really like from Pool 2, and we're looking at Beefy's Ride or Die list. Now, what caught my eye in this list, honestly, was the inclusion of Crystal. Crystal is one of those cards you just really never see, and it's interesting because with a Zabu-based deck, Crystal starts to make a little more sense. And Beefy had suggested that they wanted to rebuild a prior deck that they had, and it made sense to use Zabu because they were using Ghost Rider and Jubilee to really have a interesting impact on their deck building, and when Zabu came out, it was a very natural progression. Crystal's actually really good, they said, at 2/4, because it can shuffle the power into your deck and hopefully give you something like Dracula or other unrevealed cards that you can then utilize. I actually really like the way this deck list is set up. The Jubilee into the Chavez Infinite's a very classic combination. You have the Dracula Infinite play as well. I really like the idea of using Ghost Rider and Absorbing Man. Now, Absorbing Man's going to be coming down. It's going to be dropped in Pool, which is absolutely fantastic. So not everyone's going to have Absorbing Man here, but it's something worth noting. Also, you're seeing Black Cat in a list where you're going to basically get rid of Black Cat and you're going to ride that Ghost Rider. So it's a really unique and interesting list, one that I think is really fascinating. And I think that it was kind of unique in the sense that, like, you're not seeing a lot of players playing Black Cat in conjunction with Ghost Rider, Black Cat being very recently buffed as well. This is an interesting list, and I look forward to giving it a shot. The second deck we're talking about this week features a band of heroes that I know you all love, and they've been recently buffed. It is Cy Bowen's Dance Off Bro, a Guardians of the Galaxy list. Now, naturally, the Guardians of the Galaxy have been a little sus over the last little while, and while yes, Star-Lord never got buffed, Groot got buffed, and so did Drax, to basically reduce the amount of straight up RNG required to get a positive effect. So missing Drax or Groot feels a little less bad. You've got Rocket Raccoon, you've got so many fantastic heroes, including Gamora, who works wonderfully with your 2-drop of Daredevil. And I mean, this whole deck really revolves around Daredevil here, because you got Daredevil, you got Hobgoblin, Prof X, Gamora. It's all about getting that turn 5 fantastic playoff. And then you got Heimdall. I love a casual Heimdall in a non-move list. It is by far one of my most exciting cards in Marvel Snap, especially when your opponent has no inclination to believe that you're going to Heimdall them. And then finally you have the Odin play, which is great because Odin gives you so much added value, because if you can reproc all the Guardians of the Galaxy's effects, then you're just getting extra value on everyone that can reproc. So, and of course, you got the Enchantress, because you need some sort of tech in there for the Devil Dinos and whatnot. And I think Cy Bowen actually realized that as well, because Cy Bowen says, this isn't so much a win lots of cubes deck. This was a deck that they made because they wanted something to have fun when they were a little tilted, and the consistency actually kind of surprised them. So the Daredevil package is kind of a core component here, alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy component as well. And overall, it's a fun deck that I actually think makes the Guardians of the Galaxy work. I gotta tell you, I was really fascinated when I saw this next list. It's not just because I'm actually a huge fan of Cloak at 2/4 power. It's because Blairkster's Catch Me If You Can list provides a lot of utility in move lists, including one of my favorite cards in Marvel Snap, Miles Morales, a card that I think is getting underplayed because move generally isn't all that good. Now, you might be thinking, Alex, Human Torch, you recently talked smack about Human Torch on your podcast with Cozy, and yes, I do think that Human Torch is pure bait. And actually, Blackster says exactly that it doesn't actually rely so much on Human Torch, and Killmonger will probably take it out, but the whole deck doesn't really rely on it. It's just a bonus if it gets to survive. And so I really like that, and realistically, the insanely strong combination of Multiple Man and of course Iron Fist, and then you also have the Hulkbuster. Like, these are incredibly powerful synergistic cards, especially when you consider the ability to move the Human Torch or the Kraven or the Multiple Man in conjunction with Cloak, Doctor Strange. You got the Vulture. You have so many options, and of course you have the tech in Shang-Chi as well. And naturally, any move list is not a move list without a good old Heimdall. I really like the idea of utilizing, Move Again, because Blairkster's list does include Cloak and Dagger. Dagger is one of those pool 3 cards you almost never see. So when I see this type of list, I do think that, like, it's kind of capped on its ability to, like, gain rank. Like, I don't think it's very... I'd be surprised if this is viable above 70, 80, rank overall. But it could be a list that, like, starts to get you a little excited about what might potentially be coming from Move in the future. When I take a look at Angela Big Belt Edition, I usually get pretty excited. However, you know what else excites me? Papa Thanos. And we very rarely see Thanos-based decks. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have this very rare Series 5 card, but Thanos is one of those cards, alongside the Infinity Stones, that really provides a lot of interesting utility to this game. And Thanos is a card that is so exciting to play once you get it, regardless of its effectiveness at any rank. And True Mr. FU, great name, by the way, did suggest that this is one of those deck lists that have gotten them all the way up to rank 86, and I actually really like the idea of using Okoye in conjunction with the Stones. And True Mr. FU did state that, in fact, the Stones are themselves so individually powerful. And if you don't have Thanos yet, and you're just kind of watching for, curiosity, these Stones have immense impact on the game. This is like a Psylocke, right? This is like is where you get to change a card into basically a Nightcrawler. This has the Typhoid Mary effect on the other side of the board. You got a Scarlet Witch for 1/1, a Power Stone at 1/3 that really amplifies Thanos, but you're not always going to get Thanos that big. So the idea of using Beast to bounce things back, get Angela and Bishop absolutely massive, create space because Hulkbuster can go onto a Bishop, combine and not really take up space on the board. If you get Killmonger, then yeah, it's a bit sad. The Leech is going to take out the combo decks of Sarah Surfer and all those types of things. You have the Arrow for the disruption to kind of go against the Galactuses, which is very common at the above 80 ranks. And overall, I really think that Quinjet is a must play in these types of decks. So when I see a deck list that is working for someone with Thanos in it, I feel like we got to highlight it, because Thanos is one of those cards that if you happen to be lucky enough to pull, you're going to want to play, and this is a list that I think works. There are very few cards in Marvel Snap that get me as excited as Korg. Korg's a great card, what can I say? But that's actually a misdirection, because Korg's not the reason why I picked this deck. The reason why I picked Neon Dion's Accuser Auto Draw list is because, in their own words, Ronin is an absolutely forgotten card. And Ronin the Accuser is a card that honestly got buffed and then got way overpowered, then got toned down, and then now no one plays Ronin. So why don't we play a list like this that has so many current meta counters in it that, like, it just gets a little exciting, right? You have the Korg and the Black Widow. You're not drawing Sarah Surfer, you're not drawing your Zabu. Get out of here, get stuffed. And then you have the Sandman to disrupt the combo list. Then you add the Rock Slide to their hands, you're disrupting their hands quite a bit. You're adding Baron to their hands so that you can set a cost card to 6. It's insane. Wave disrupts them, Maximus fills their hands, and then you drop Ronin on top of an Invisible Woman. So they don't even know Invisible Woman has Ronin behind it. And then you can follow that up with Doctor Doom, and they don't even realize you're playing Ronin and Doctor Doom. Wild. I actually really think this deck list is really fascinating. The inclusion of Zabu with only 2 4-drops is kind of interesting as well. I've never played a Zabu deck with only 2 4-drops. Usually I see Zabu and I get a little greedy. So I'm actually really interested in testing this deck out and saying, you know what? Can Zabu with 2 4, specifically the Sandman and the Rock Slide, actually do some damn work? And it'll be really interesting to see just how effective this deck list works, because I'm going to be playing it next as a gameplay highlight. All right, folks, here we are, Savage Land coming down. Not quite a type of location that really benefits us. We don't have our 1-drop here. We do have Baron for 2, Zabu for 3. With most Zabu decks, like, you could probably confidently snap here, but without Ronin, I feel slightly less confident. We got Sinister London. Sinister London. Now, with Sinister London, it almost makes me want to throw down Baron there. However, that's probably a little ridiculous. We're going to probably have to wait. We want Ronin into Sinister London. That is the genuine... Oh, this guy's playing a big hand deck. Unbelievable. This guy's going to feel really bad in a moment. He's obviously playing Devil Dinosaur here. So the lack of Shang-Chi is going to make itself felt here. Shang-Chi is going to be critical and probably an ad for this list. Like, see, right away, it's like, huh, not having Shang-Chi here feels awful. Now, when we drop Rock Slide, watch, we're going to double Rock Slide here into a Sandman. Wow, we can't really Rock Slide Sinister London, though, can we? I think we can, but we'll have to make sure Maximus is here. No, Rock Slide can go there. We got to be very careful. The Savage Land's occupying a lot of space for us on the board here. It's Enchantress. Takes out the Zabu. Not actually a big deal for us. Rock Slide's going to cause some problems for this guy. Rock Slide goes left, which is kind of what we wanted. The Sandman comes down. Sandman probably doesn't impact him too much, honestly. In this situation here, we probably Maximus for the most possible power here. And obviously, Doctor Doom's not what we want. We want Ronin. We're unfortunately in a situation where we cannot snap. The problem is that without a Shang-Chi, his ability to play Devil Dinosaur mid is an easy win condition, especially when he has 7 in his hand. But us diluting his deck might give us an opportunity. We'll have to see. If he snaps, we have to go, right? If he snaps, we have to go. We did not get the draw we wanted. He's gone. He's gone. Okay, so this was a situation here where I think we disrupted his hand enough with the Rock Slides. We had enough value on the board with Maximus. And this is actually a list we're playing against that, like, the Sandman doesn't have the greatest effect. Like, a Devil Dinosaur large hand size doesn't care so much about Sandman. However, what I will tell you, which has happened, is the Rock Slides set, basically, look at his deck. It's 6 cards at turn 6. Those 4 extra cards prevented him from drawing his Devil Dinosaur, which resulted in us winning this game. So ultimately, a pretty damn cool list. Ronin didn't even have to come out, but I think that's really critical as well. Like, you don't always need every single piece. You don't need the perfect draw to win a game. This guy drew his Devil Dinosaur, we might have been in trouble. So that's why perhaps my suggestion would be to get Shang-Chi in here somewhere. Who I would cut? I would lean towards possibly Invisible Woman. I like the Invisible Woman idea. I think Scorpion might be a little better, but you can also cut Scorpion and add then that third 4-drop, which synergizes wonderfully with Zabu. That's probably what I would do, because I think you, like I, were like feeling the, if this guy draws Devil Dinosaur, we're in trouble, right? But you know what? Neon Dion's deck list here got us a cube. So thank you so much for submitting it. And thank you to everyone for supporting this series and this content. As I said, the next week and the week after are going to be even more exciting. Be sure to submit your deck list down below. And I've got a video right here that you guys can check out as well if you're interested in seeing more Marvel Snap content. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week in the next Community Decks of the Week.